Extreme weather and climate change equating to 1% or more of the property's replacement cost is considered high risk. So I'm going to give you an example of what that is in a moment. It's not a lot. So if you think about a $600,000 property, if there is a risk of damage of $6,000 or more, it's considered high risk.
On an annual basis.
There wouldn't be many. There wouldn't be many insurance claims that aren't at least that in any event. So that becomes inaccessible. You know, if premiums go up significantly, it becomes inaccessible and unaffordable to insure, or becomes uninsurable altogether.
Well, I think, and one of the issues that has been highlighted, certainly in the recent flooding, has been that typically the lower income buyers and renters are sort of forced to go to those riskier areas where housing is cheaper.
It's cheaper.
And, you know, and they can not cope. They really can't bear that risk, but you got to have a roof over your head, right? And so this is actually, I think, increasing disadvantage in many areas, this whole problem. And then, of course, if they can't insure what they have, makes it even worse. So just that gap between those that do and can afford to protect themselves versus those that can't, you know, we've got a lot of issues here in terms of housing policy and to tackle this sort of stuff. But from your point of view as a listener, if you're looking at being a homeowner, and we encourage you obviously to do that, we want you to do it safely. So it's really about being very aware of these.
Understanding and risk.
Yeah, and not falling and not also being lured into potentially a more affordable housing without understanding potentially whether this is a risk that applies in that instance.
Yeah, worst case scenario, if you were to choose a lower price house because it felt like a more affordable option and that house was uninsurable, or you chose not to insure because the costs were so high, and something completely devastated, flattened, or took away the livability of that property, are you in a position to rebuild it, to live in it again? Or would you suffer a loss of having to sell it in its devastated state at land value?